Mayor Phillips, Mr. Dye. As a prior resident of Olive Branch, and the love for Olive Branch that my small family did share, it pains me to be typing this letter to you. Yesterday, on the 19th, I dealt with the most abominable, putrid of dealings and treatment by your municipal judge, Leslie Shoemate. That in itself is an upgrade for the complete lawlessness, lack of moral turpitude and integrity, and sharp, hard turn away from the Constitution and expectations of a functioning society. This type of reprehensible behavior by any government employee should never be tolerated. Yet it's become a common reality that I've witnessed more and more over the past several years, and especially when I decided to embark on my inner calling to document and produce in the live, ongoing documentary series, Riding with the Outlaw. I am a Marine Corps veteran. I swore an oath to my country to uphold and defend its Constitution against all enemies, both foreign and domestic. And the clear, cutthroat attack by this lawless municipal court judge in Olive Branch today pretty much undercut everything that I've seen and documented. It was an extreme abuse and fissuring of the judicial gavel, a permanent staining of the robe in which he wears, most certainly a tipping of the judicial scales, and a sharp declaration of war on our blended constitutional republic / democracy. The founding fathers of America, who declared our independence, are rolling over and over in their graves. The same ones whom outlined and emboldened our basic human rights of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, and composed our Constitution, which has been the foundation that has set and molded America as the last truly free nation in the world, governed by laws meant to extend to all individuals and especially to protect all, especially naturalized citizens. In my time of dedicating myself to my country, and in my 33 years, I know of one Constitution, one set of laws, not two. This judge is not above the law. He's not above the Constitution. And the treacherous mistake that he just made yesterday is definitely going to cost Olive Branch. Judge Shoemate is a danger and a liability to the city of Olive Branch. He is a tarnish on the good name. I trust to it that Mr. Mayor and Mr. Dye will see to it that Judge Shoemate is relieved of his duties as municipal court judge of Olive Branch by the end of the day tomorrow. Watch this video. See the proof. See that I did nothing to deserve the consequences that I reaped yesterday. All I've asked since the beginning were for equal protection of the laws, for the laws to be applied evenly. And I don't think I'm asking too much. My name is Matt Reardon, and I am the Oxford Outlaw. In the Chancery Court of Lafayette County, Mississippi, petition for permission to interlocutory appeal to the Mississippi Supreme Court. Pursuant to Rule 5 of the Mississippi Rules for Appellate Procedure, Matthew Reardon, the respondent and defendant in the above-captioned cause, files his petition for permission to interlocutory appeal to the Mississippi Supreme Court. Movant states that this petition is filed in good timing and most certainly with good merit, based on grounds for which relief through an interlocutory appeal may be sought. Movant would affirm that he has continued to sustain repetitive injuries at the baseless, frivolous, and vindictive hands of the petitioner's legal counsel, along with the state of Mississippi. Movant states that each motion brought before this court has been prejudicially ignored, with preferential treatment shown to the petitioner in this cause the entire time, despite the fact that petitioners had a history of filing false reports, and this very cause will show the furtherance of petitioner's continued behavior, which is not only morally incomprehensible, but in fact rises to the level of criminal conduct by flagrant and uncaring violations of Mississippi Annotated Code 97-7-10, fraudulent statements and representations, along with Mississippi Annotated Code 97-1-1, conspiracy, which the state of Mississippi has refused to acknowledge, condemn, and deter, despite the petitioner meeting literally every criteria of the statute needed for an indictment by a grand jury. Yet through what would easily appear to be culpable negligence at the hands of state actors acting under color of law, she has continued to get away with the intentional infliction of injuries upon the respondent and movant, and this court is further feeding into it by immorally changing a standing order when absolutely no evidence was produced and court proceedings delayed. Movant further demonstrates the preferential treatment shown through his filing of a motion to dismiss or in the alternative to transfer venue, filed 11/16/2020, on the basis that venue, while jurisdictionally is proper, is in fact improper at the Chancery Court of Lafayette County, Mississippi, due to reasons of constitutional law, equity sought in counterclaims by the respondent due to the injury sustained, zero evidence produced up front as a way of justifying 9 months of contempt in violating a visitation order, and a jury demand by the respondent movant for these reasons stated, and stray away from the constitutional norm and lack of acknowledgement by this court on any of the motions or petitions filed with this court. Motion is attached to this filing as Exhibit A. It would most certainly appear that any response or forward motion brought by movant is destined to fall upon blind eyes and deaf ears, despite all evidence almost certainly warranting the dismissal of petitioner's cause. Petitioner, along with the court, moved on their own to enter an order of supervised visitation and appointment of a guardian ad litem, which was drafted by the petitioner's attorney, accepted, signed by the judge, and filed by this court unsigned by the movant, despite his motion to dismiss or transfer being opened and unanswered and ignored by this court. Order filed a judge without movant signatures attached as Exhibit B. Despite serious issues of law, ethics, and criminal wrongdoing raised and alleged, none of this mattered. It is entirely the opinion of the movant that influence, along with ongoing pending litigation over extreme civil rights violations committed through officials of Lafayette County, have indeed created what movant cites as a constitutional crisis by way of trying to fix a desirable outcome through the initiation of legal proceedings, frivolous and undeserving, done with ill intention, and further using the pressure of keeping movant's minor child from him to make him cave on a matter. This was precisely the case in May of 2017, and movant has been consistent in stating the same claims about how his minor child was used as a manipulation tool of the courts by the minor child's mother for her own personal gain, whom by ways of collusion and criminal conspiracy plotted and in many ways were successful in eliminating and reducing the legal liability stemming from the actions of certain individuals and officials in Lafayette County, Mississippi, whom will be named in a separate court filing. The fact that this court allows her to carry on despite her claims raised as complete lies, and in light of her having a history of pathological lying through the false reporting of crimes, is an absolute shame and one that should question the validity of other rulings or if this is simply isolated. While Movin has continued to gain more legal knowledge, especially in the composing of briefs, motions, petitions, and responses, which most certainly will fare to his advantage in the future as an attorney should he choose to pursue that, true justice is nowhere in sight. Movin asserts and affirms through multiple recent examples, including this cause, that there's been a clearly shown lack of adherence and care to the equal protections under the laws which are afforded to all citizens under the 14th Amendment to the United States Constitution, a system designed to provide due process and one that should stay uninfluenceable and non-biased, would appear to have drifted away from acceptable norms that would gain and keep the trust of citizens now is clouded with uncertainty. All appearances are on tilt, continuously spiraling further and further out of control. The first question Movent would pose is what good are laws, and why were laws instituted if they can be so bludgeoned and blatantly abused, even when such abuse is brought to the attention of those tasked with upholding and enforcing such laws? Does the state of Mississippi actually condone this type of behavior? And even more so, do they condone the culpably negligent actors whom are fully aware of it and allow the continuation of such, despite the damage continually inflicted by the victim, whom has exhausted remedies and seeking immediate relief from the government, whom is tasked with protecting its citizens by way of providing equal protections under its laws? Our country has operated under the policy in name of innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. I say in name because it's something that exists clearly just to sound good and give off false hope to anyone suffering at the hands of a completely flawed criminal justice system, when in fact all too often the accused are looked at and treated as guilty until they prove their innocence. That fact is made blatantly clear in this cause, and it couldn't be any clearer. After 2 scheduled hearings, the petitioner has not produced one single strand of evidence which would even suggest that she has a valid, non-frivolous claim, and in fact every motion and response filed by respondent/Movin has stated in fact very serious claims of petitioner having a history of making false reports, and that Movin was advised multiple times that petitioner was lying through her teeth, and that they would never assert anything of the such which petitioner has asserted now on 3 separately filed documents filed with this court under signed and sworn affidavit.
My name is Matt Beard, and I am the Oxford Outlaw. Those who don't know, I was the target of a witch hunt back in 2017. It was politically motivated. It was centered around eliminating the liability that Lafayette County, Mississippi brought on themselves, and it was also done in a way to help usher in the election of a new Democrat mayor, a female mayor by the name of Robin Tannehill. I just bonded out just a little bit ago. I want to tell you exactly what happened. It literally has me seeing red. I've got the recording, and I'm releasing the recording live on this live stream. I was banished back in 2017. It was part of a political stunt which helped elect and protect an incoming socialist mayor. It was also a ploy to remove the liability off of Lafayette County that they brought on themselves with an unlawful arrest that they made May 1st while I was standing in solidarity in front of the statue on the square in Oxford, holding the state flag, had a gun on my hip, as I'm legally, constitutionally, legislatively allowed to do. It was not a protest. It was only me. I was not causing any problems. Ever since then, everything has slid downhill into just absolute hell and mayhem. I was framed at the end of May. They said that on or before May 8th, I put these bar owners in fear of their life with an AR-15. Funny thing is, I met with the FBI the day before that arrest. I had a death threat issued to me. Okay? On top of that, the incoming mayor had put out an emergency injunction to help bar me from speaking at City Hall on June 6th, which I was already slotted to speak out at. I had information, not to mention I had a grievance that needed to be addressed. I did everything the right way. This county decided they were going to hem me up and they were going to silence me in some of the most grotesque of ways. Now, since then, I've been targeted through my daughter, my 6-year-old daughter. The mother of my 6-year-old daughter has gotten away with putting some of the most heinous false accusations on me to not only destroy me, but to destroy my now family of 5. Has accused me, actually just got done with a court case where she had accused me in November of 2018 of raping her. Funny thing is with that, not really funny. I always say funny. Not funny. She admitted on a recorded phone call that it was part of a further conspiracy that her husband played a part in, and falsely trying to frame me for rape. She was arrested, charged with making a false police report. Unfortunately, the state of Mississippi looks at filing a false report of rape, or any false report for that matter, as a misdemeanor. There needs to be changes to that law. If you accuse somebody of a heinous crime, such as rape, anything that is a felony, that person should be charged with a felony. It is not a deterrent. It is never going to fix anything. Giving them a misdemeanor, a slap on the wrist, maybe $1,000 fine, and max 12 months in jail, which we all know should only be, or it only ends up tending to be a month, maybe. So she pled out to filing a false police report for rape. She pled nolo contendere, no contest. And they did that with the intention of appealing it. How do you appeal a no contest pleading? It's beyond me. The judge in this matter was a very liberal judge. I'm a staunch conservative, Trump supporter. Everything going back the last 3 years has had political motivation wrapped all around it. I have been literally the center of a witch hunt, nonstop targeting, and everything has political motivation written all over it. It destroyed my life, destroyed my rights. They disarmed me. I am a Marine Corps veteran. I pledged a lifelong oath. Now, it's generally never anything to brag about when it comes to going to jail. I'm not really trying to brag. But today was more of a bittersweet moment. I'll say it's a bittersweet moment. Because, see, I had anticipated 2 outcomes. Corrupt or
just off the charts, slap me crazy, lawlessness, and that's what happened today. This judge showed me that he had no business ever presiding over another case again. He's about as lawless, in fact, he's probably more lawless than Carolyn Bell, believe it or not. So here's what happened this morning. And then right after that, I'm going to play the part that happened yesterday.
Matthew Reardon. Mr. Reardon, I'm going to give you a warning one time and one time only. The next time you call up here, the next time you give anybody in my staff a hard time, I'm going to have you arrested for contempt of court. You're not to come up here. When you call up here, you have to meet the rate.
Your Honor, how did I do that?
Be quiet, sir. If I understand you want to discuss something with me, let's hear it. What do you want to discuss with me?
I was simply trying to inquire on the outcome of my ex. She falsely accused me of rape. You have created a monster.
Please take him all back. Take him all back to the back. Go back, sir. I'm going to hold you in contempt of court. Take him all back.
Your Honor, I was just trying to address this.
All right, sir, let's go. You want to go on your own?
Go back.
Your Honor, please. My wife is outside.
I don't care.
My wife is outside. My wife is outside. This is a witch hunt.
I don't see a single thing that I did wrong there. Not a single thing. I think even when the judge got so far out of line, I still composed myself, considering the circumstances in a very well way. And I know that I wouldn't have a problem in the world convincing every last juror of my innocence, his extreme guilt, and ultimately the liability that falls back on the city of Olive Branch. I'm sick and tired of this lawlessness going on. I'm sick and tired of not being afforded equal protections under the law as guaranteed by the 14th Amendment of the Constitution. My rights over the last 3 years have been completely shredded and nobody seems to give a shit. So here's your opportunity to fix the problem, to show that you want to do something to fix the problem. Or I'm going to fix it.
Olive Branch Court, this is Dickie.
Hey Dickie, is one of the ladies up front in the clerk's office that I can speak with?
I'll transfer you up there. I don't know.
Okay.
Olive Branch Court, this is Ashley.
Hey Ashley, I was calling. I'm inquiring on a case that was that's over now, and I'm trying to get some clarification, some understanding on what transpired. I mean, I've called up here a few times. I was the victim in the case, and
is this Mr. Reardon?
yeah.
Okay, I can just tell by your voice. Why didn't you come to court and ask for the copy of the stuff?
Well, if you remember, that following day or whatever, I think it was the next day after I spoke with you, I had told you I've got vehicle issues and I've got definitely financial issues right now because of all the false accusations and just the mess that had been stirred up and started by my ex. And I just wasn't in a position to come up there to Olive Branch the next day.
Okay. I mean, can you come? Could you come this Thursday?
I could. Well, yeah, I mean, I should be able to. Yeah.
I mean, if I were you, just because the judge said he was wanting to talk to you about everything, so I would come back Thursday. You can come at 9 or 2.
Okay. I mean, I have a pretty good idea what's, because her attorney actually just sent me an email last night that she had explained to Judge Shoemate that the Chancery matter in Oxford and about, in the best interest of the child. But what the judge clearly didn't understand in this matter was that I've been the only one that's been civil since day one. I have suffered directly at the hands of this girl putting false accusations against me that have been proven unsubstantiated. She has been enabled fully, and she has kept my child from me since January. It's her that's refusing to co-parent, and so all this did was this further enabled her and created a larger problem if she was let go and not charged. It's ultimately culpable negligence, especially if she strikes again, because I've been completely victimized by her, and I've not even seen my child since January. So they flat out lied to the judge, especially if he just let her go. It's a very serious charge. And I was completely victimized, and I still am. I still can't even see my daughter.
Okay. I mean, there's nothing that I can honestly really say. You hear this?
It's shocking. I mean, the state of Mississippi and the courts have created a monster in her that, she's going to continue to strike. She feels 10 foot tall and bulletproof. And, meanwhile, I'm the one to truly suffer here, and I can't get justice at the hands of the system that's supposed to administer it. And I mean, if the judge got falsely accused of rape, I'm pretty sure he would understand my standpoint, especially if his daughter was immorally kept from him. So yeah, I guess I would like to address the judge, because the judge clearly needs to be addressed.
Okay, then you'll have to come Thursday at either 9 or 2.
All right, Ashley. I'll do I have to give you a set, or can I just play it by ear when Thursday gets here?
Okay.
Okay?
All right.
All right, thanks. Bye.
Okay, so I don't think there's anything out of that was out of place, that was threatening to any staff member. I think that was actually my constitutional duty. I think that anybody should definitely have concerns, especially anybody that's been victimized as many times as I have by false allegations, especially by the same person that is continually enabled.
Well, I just read that they just have that has till the 27th, which will be a week from tomorrow.
Okay. But as of right now...
So that the appeal has been made yet, but they have till the 27th.
Okay, and then she has to turn herself in on the 27th if not, correct?
One or the other, yes.
What's that?
I said one or the other, either file the appeal or step in.
Okay. All right. Good deal. And he suspended the other 11, or what was the other 11 months?
I got to go back.
And is there a way I can get a copy of that?
You can come up here.
Okay. I didn't know if there's any way I could get. I live in Oxford, an hour away. That's why I was.
Well, that doesn't matter. We can't send these things.
Okay.
You can come review them, but you can't make copies and send them anywhere.
Okay. Okay. All right. Yeah, if you could give me the details on that.
Well, it's not much to say here, just as a counsel. Argument with the counsel for the city and defense counsel on sentencing. City argued the maximum jail time and maximum fine. Defendant argued the minimum of this time was latest ongoing custody dispute between the parties now on file in the Fayette County Chancery Court. The court, after hearing the argument, sentenced defendant to 30 days in jail and fined $9.25. The court ordered a report back date to allow appeal if desired by counsel and for final sentencing. So nothing can be done until that final court date.
I got you. Okay.
Unless they go on and file and they may have filed. I don't know that yet.
Okay. All right. Well, sounds good. I'll come up there sometime over the next week and go ahead and get a copy of that. Or well, you said y'all can't do copies or you can't send copies. I can get
You can read it. You can view it.
Oh, I can view it. I can't actually take a physical copy?
I'm not sure. You'll have to check with the court clerk when that time comes.
Okay. Yeah, I figured it's part of public records. It'd be part of the Public Records Act.
Well, there's a lot of people who are less informed about public records. Public records means that you can view it. Doesn't mean we have to copy anything or send anything to someone, but you can view it. What is that?
What it is, it's kicking the can down to the next person. It's a whole bunch of plausible deniability that's going on. And nobody just wants to step up and handle the real problem at hand. Meanwhile, somebody that's been truly victimized by lies and false allegations continues to get more and more victimized, continues to have this child. My child I haven't seen my child since January 20th. While my newborn was in Le Bonheur Hospital, had my 6-year-old Lydia for visitation, dropped her off with her mom, and then that's when all the shit happened. She called in a false claim to child services, tried to claim that my wife had hit her. It was another complete lie. My daughter even told child services. Never happened. Child services dismissed it as a complete lie, unfounded. Meanwhile, I still haven't seen my child because then, oops, COVID hits. Court shut down. She starts invoking child services name into her lies to say that they advised not to let me see my child. Meanwhile, $600 a month in child support's paid out to her. Scandalous, scandalous, scandalous. Every single letter of the word monstrous applies when it comes to this. I've got some stories for you. These stories, it's an ongoing building block into 3 different books that I'm working on. One of them is about writing with the outlaw. My adventures in being politically charged, politically framed, having all the evidence of government involvement, deep state involvement, a bunch of corrupt attorneys, even the courts. The second one's going to be about all the shenanigans with Phyllis Liz Crowder, my ex, mother of my child. The false, just the insanity that encompasses that. All the frivolous, false claims, and my stand against it.
even when it came to having to represent myself, because I couldn't find an attorney to help me. Meanwhile, she's got attorneys bending over backwards to help defend her lies. I'm pretty sure on a third, and that'll be the more familial aspect about how my family turned their back on me, especially at a time that I needed them the most, especially in seeing the undeniable proof, seeing me steadily drowning more and more, sinking in quicksand, and yet it's one thing not to contribute and help out. It's another thing to actually completely turn your back on somebody that is struggling with the particular things that I've run into with all the adversity, the biggest challenges of my life, having to be one man going up against a ridiculously corrupt system that continues to break laws, that continues to carry their witch hunt on. I need a prayer. It's Matt Reardon. You've been riding with the outlaw. Take care, guys. Hi, my name is Matt Reardon, also known as the Oxford Outlaw. I'm here in front of the Lafayette County Courthouse, where it all first started for me back in May of 2017, where I was unlawfully arrested May 1st, standing in front of the Confederate statue on public property holding the state flag of Mississippi. That unraveled a series of events that ultimately led to my banishment and framing on a crime that I couldn't have possibly committed. Riding with the Outlaw is my story, where I unearth all the details and prove every element of this heinous corruption scandal in order to try to prevent this type of atrocity from happening again. Make sure you follow along on my website, www.ridingwiththeoutlaw.com, as well as check out the video section on YouTube and the Oxford Outlaw Facebook page for more details.
Marine Corps veteran. I'm a patriot. I'm a 3%er. I took an oath at the end of 2007 to uphold and defend our Constitution from all enemies, both foreign and domestic. My oath had no expiration date. Nowhere in the military oath is there an expiration date that says that this oath is only good until the time of your service ends. And it's like that for a very particular reason. You see, when I took an oath back in 2007 to uphold and defend our Constitution, I swore an oath to our country and ultimately wrote a blank check to our government for an amount up to and including my life. I wasn't deployed. I was never sent to a deployable squadron. In fact, I was in the air wing, and I was part of a non-deployable squadron that actually train new pilots to fly the AV-8B Harrier and then get assigned to a gun squadron and sent overseas to drop bombs on Iraq. I personally find my MOS and my job very crucial to the readiness of the Marine Corps and its officers to go and drop bombs on the bad guys. So I wrote a blank check to the government for an amount up to including my life. It's that reason right there alone that the oath that I took doesn't expire. So I wanted to know, and I still want to know to this day, how a city and a county has the right, feels that they have the right to supersede the Constitution, the law of the land. Because the last I knew, no law made by any city or any county ever had the effect of becoming a law and a lawful order if it directly clashed with that of the Constitution. And the First Amendment right guarantees my right to stand here on public property, whether or not I'm causing friction, whether or not I'm irritating people. It's my right, granted through the First Amendment, to have freedom of speech, freedom of assembly, freedom of the press. But you've got protesters over there holding signs wanting the statue to come down. And I tell them every single time I talk to them, hey, look, you know what? 3 years ago, I was arrested standing on public property right here where y'all are standing, okay? I was arrested because I didn't have a permit. I'm a Marine Corps veteran. I fought for our constitutional rights. In fact, I took an oath to support and defend the Constitution. And that's your right, your freedom of speech. Look, you got the same rights as I do. Unfortunately, this town framed me for exercising mine just standing here with the state flag of Mississippi on the sidewalk by myself. Okay? So at the end of the day, no, it's not about symbols. That right there was not about symbols. That right there was about our rights as citizens.
I agree.
And so, no. Okay? No. I say go to a vote, and y'all see what the real numbers are. Y'all want to put it to a vote? I mean, is that something that y'all are after? Or y'all just wanting total decimation to remove it without a vote? If they allowed a vote, don't you think it would probably go somewhat like the Mississippi state flag vote? Yep, where it was about 65% in favor of the flag.
Long time ago, these millennials can vote now, sir.
Well, you know what? I feel sorry for America. Oh, I'm worried. I am worried for America. They have the right to live, to be here free of harassment, and don't even need to have a permit. Shouldn't even be a requirement to have a permit. But see, that's the liberal hypocrisy, because I'll never hear that said to me. In fact, being that I'm a conservative, just the opposite. Back in May of 2017, false reports were called up there about me causing problems on the square, even though I wasn't saying a thing. I was just holding a state flag, had a gun on my hip. Long story short, Deputy Pruitt said I had to leave. I didn't have a permit or I was going to face arrest. He said I was going to take the video straight to my attorney. I couldn't be threatened with my First Amendment rights. His uniform was a little bare that day. He had forgotten to put his badge back on before coming out. He took about 7 steps off, and I turned around to ask him what his badge number was. That infuriated him because it made him look horrible, as if he wasn't already doing a good enough job of that himself. When he came trying to trod on a Marine Corps veteran and a patriot's rights to stand there in solitude, by myself, not even as a group, holding the state flag of Mississippi. I was arrested. When I asked him what his badge number was, it infuriated him. He took me to the jail. I maybe was in the jail for about an hour before I posted bond. I grabbed my state flag. My car was parked right here on the square still. And I decided I was going to take a victory lap and walk from the sheriff's department with my state flag back to the square. And I did a victory lap around the square, holding my state flag, proudly holding my state flag. Because I knew what I did was not wrong. And you can try to paint me into a corner and try to demonize me all you want to. Fact is, even by the sheriff's department's own admission, and through multiple agencies, news agencies, I was arrested for holding the state flag on public property. Chain of events after that. Okay. I go to New Orleans, go stand up for the monuments under attack. I come back May 7th, May 8th. All right. I have court the next day on a child custody hearing. I meet with my attorney for a lot of the day. I end up doing a countersuit against my ex, and I get the bright idea to go and serve her attorney with the countersuit. Oh, it was epic. On Facebook. Saw them in court the next day. There's a bit of a fireworks clashing between the attorneys. Long story short, we'll fast forward the tape then. About May 19th, see, I was patronizing Frank and Marley's bar on the square just about every day. Ashley Lynch did not like me as a person. She didn't like me as a person because she didn't like me as a salesperson from before. She thought I came across too pushy. And I wanted to smooth things over with Ashley, so I tried to motion for her to come over to the bar where I was sitting down eating a tray of chicken wings that I had just paid for. She wouldn't come over. I said, well, I think it's only right. I'm patronizing your bar, spending money here. I'm just simply trying to smooth issues over. And I said, well, I think that's pretty fucked up. I'm over here trying to bury the hatchet with you. She came over, she grabbed my tray of chicken wings, and she threw them in the trash can, even though I paid cash for them. Wouldn't give me a refund, anything. So I walked out of the bar, I called for a boycott of Frank and Marley's. It turned into a back and forth between us on Facebook. What I like to call a meme war. Really them with the memes. It was them that created the YouTube channel that they called a 24/7 surveillance and watch of Oxford's Matt Reardon. What does that sound like Stockton to say? I don't feel like they did anything illegal, and I certainly didn't do anything illegal. They just weren't expecting me to play right back into it and not get all offended. Me to actually have fun with it and run along with them. I'm sent proof that there's a death threat that's been made on my life by my ex and mother of my child. Also the one coincidentally represented by the mayor's husband. So May 20th, I go and I purchase an AR-15 and a bulletproof vest. So I had every right to do. Protect myself and my family. May 22nd, a restraining order, an emergency injunction is filed by Ray Tannehill, who is representing his wife, Robin Tannehill, the mayor-elect, as her attorney. See, about a week prior to that, about May 15th, I had spoken out in City Hall in Oxford City Hall, because Mayor Pat Patterson refused to allow me to address the board. And just like everything else in this town, they think they got it all figured out, and so be it. For your rights. I know that the First Amendment right also grants me the right to petition the government for a redress of grievances. Of course, with my grievance being the Mississippi state flag being taken down on city property in Oxford. I called the mayor and each of the board of aldermen a cultural Marxist if they stood in favor of keeping the state flag down while openly taking tax dollars from the state. So I'm hunted down the next day, May 23rd, on campus, 2 sheriff's deputies. They pull me over to give me a restraining order. The 24th, a mysterious phone call comes in to Lafayette County Sheriff's Department for Sheriff's Investigator Jared Bundard. Jared took this call where it was stated that I was making threats against Franken Marley's and Todd and Ashley Lynch. Now Jared, he claims that he investigated my Facebook profile. He said that he saw proof of multiple threats. I've clearly stated in all my videos, even way back then, before that I wouldn't go on the offensive. That I'm a patriot, I'm a 3%er. I'm there to protect myself, my family, and innocent bystanders. Those unable to defend themselves. May 25th, the next day, I meet with the FBI, the local field office here in Oxford, because of the death threat that was made against me, that I had screenshots of. There's already a liberal hypocrisy like none other shown in this area. You see plenty of proof of that with riding with the outlaw. Plenty of proof of it. But I also met with him because I felt like my First Amendment rights had come under attack. To protect somebody coming on board as the mayor. See, I had actually done what Mayor Pat Patterson had said, even though I felt like I didn't have to, because I sure didn't want to get told I couldn't speak the next time. And I put myself on the agenda to address the Board of Aldermen on June the 6th, the next Board of Aldermen meeting. And I was slotted to speak right after Joey East. The article is in the local Voice. When I got pulled over May 23rd and given the restraining order, essentially keeping me 500 feet away from the Tannehills, from Robin Tannehill, who is the whatever alderman who's going to be there because she was an alderman. It effectively barred me from speaking. So I met with the FBI about these 2 issues that were major issues, as well as information that had been given to me in regards to what was purported as embezzling. This attorney embezzling money directly out of the trust fund of my ex. I said enough was enough after they did that. Leave it to the authorities to investigate. I don't have the exact details, but I knew I had 2 other reasons to meet with him. Coincidentally, the next day, May 26th, I'm surrounded on the square by sheriff's deputies, arrested, not told what I was being arrested for until they got me to the jail. There, I was hit with the affidavit that I was on or before May 8th. I put the Lynches in fear of their life with an AR-15 at their house. How could that be? When I purchased the AR-15 on May 20th. And I did so because I had a death threat made to me. The FBI stood by with their hands in the cookie jar, refusing to show any proof. I mean, they've got their own cyber crimes division. Surely, through the sit-down meeting that I had with them, they would be able to surely shed some light. Because after all, wasn't Michael Flynn charged with lying to the FBI? So, therefore, Where am I lying? Because if I was lying to the FBI about purchasing the AR-15 on May 20th, then where's the FBI right now to arrest me for lying to the FBI? Crickets. And it's because at this very time, the FBI was a politicized weapon. A politicized weapon that was documented in full detail with the disgusting, absolutely disgusting, illegal wiretapping campaign that they conducted on General Michael Flynn. No reason to actually ever wiretap the guy. And then when they charged him, they threatened that if he didn't plead guilty to something that he didn't commit, that they were going to come after his son. I mean, how disgusting and low down can you get? That whole organization needs to be disbanded completely. The FBI is causing more harm to society than they're causing good. Fact. They've turned into a politicized weapon that allows an innocent person to get framed, knowing that they had the proof. So I sit in jail from May 26th, get a bond hearing May 30th. Judge meets with sheriff's investigator behind closed doors for about 10 minutes prior to coming out. I'm in an orange jumpsuit. She reads me the charge. I said, "Your Honor, I'd like to address the court." She said, "Mr. Reardon, you have the right to remain silent." And I said, "I know what my rights are. I know what my rights are. Take a stand for them. But I don't choose to invoke it. In fact, right now, I choose to invoke my freedom of speech." She wouldn't let me speak to address the court to show that the state had absolutely zero proof, zero evidence, and that I had 100% evidence of my innocence. Crooked. And even more crooked was I was given a $150,000 bond. It was already 2 days past the allotted window for me to actually get a bond hearing. You're only supposed to get 2 days. They made me sit in jail for 4. They did that with a goal in mind, because the mayor's election was June the 6th, exactly 7 days later. All right? Exactly 7 days later, the mayor would become elected in an unopposed race. She would become Oxford's 36th mayor. She would scathe through without any political ramifications or anything backfiring in the process of her becoming elected.
Yeah, you know who it is. Sounds familiar. A lot of stuff going on in Oxford, a lot of stuff going on in Lafayette County, and we are reminded by it all that freedom ain't free. It comes with a price tag. Yeah, you know who it is. Might been cold for a little while. From Keystone Kid to Kilo Jones, ask Scott Mills, why they call me the outlaw. All the time reminding rhymes, low blow, racketeer, pay for play, you filthy Democrat. Another one just for fun, I think it's him, he's back again. Oh shit, it's Matt, play my fam against me, thought you had to win. I guess it's easy to think when you're looking at a grandstanding room of criminals with a gun and a badge. I forgot about